Wall Street remains braced for a recession, eventually. That's in part because consumers are poised to slow down their spending.
March was really kind of a big month in terms of spending slowdown, but it's not just bad news. We're not seeing like things deteriorating at a really rapid pace, but the slowdown is there.
But a recession may never materialize if consumers keep spending.
I continue to think that it's possible that this time is really different. And the reason is there's just so much excess demand, really, in the labor market.
I mean, it's been amazing how resilient, in a way, the consumer has been to this inflationary shock.
The consumer is still very strong. They're just spending differently.
People are still spending, and that has been important to the economy.
We've been talking about the possibility of recession for what's felt like, a very, very long time. And for now, the global economy is holding up.
But some people are reining in their budgets.
I don't like to save my money. That was part of the problem. I like to spend money. I felt like a lot of people might have a similar experience, especially since we live in a consumer economy.
How much longer can consumers keep the U.S. economy afloat? Many Americans are reworking their budgets as inflation stays hot.
So last year I was living in Arizona, I was paying rent, and I was getting frustrated because my income it felt like it was disappearing. It felt like I wasn't making progress on my savings goals, and I felt like, how am I supposed to not be a renter if I can't save enough to not be a renter anymore? So that was one of the contributing factors to me moving back home to California, where the income is actually higher and the cost of living is higher as well, but because I'm living at home, I'm saving on that.
The reality is that as prices are rising, the things that you have to pay for, the everyday expenses, your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, food, all of that is increasing, and increasing dramatically in some cases.
In a February 2023 survey, 4 out of 5 consumers said they were tightening budgets by buying less in bulk or shopping around more often for better deals. These sorts of micro decisions have a huge influence on the pace of economic growth.
Consumer spending represents more than half of the economy. It's close to 70%. If consumer spending is strong, that alone is, generally speaking, enough to keep the economy from slipping into a recession.
In Europe, it's a little bit less. Exports are a much more important driver of economic activity than perhaps, say, here in the United States. And then we look at China and other parts of Asia, and again, the manufacturing base, much more important. So yes.
So that was a segment on CNBC, and you're talking about money. We're talking personal finances. Today, remember to go ahead and hit the like and free subscribe button. I'm a former Wall Street attorney, and now I'm doing these podcasts. Wall Street is expecting that the United States will have a soft recession around 2025. We've seen a segment with BlackRock on that. We just saw that the March spending is slowing down according to CNBC, and there are different level of spending in the United States, and that the United States, we rely upon spending to get out of this inflation, and spending is going to slow down. You're going to need a budget, my friend. That's how you're going to get yourself out of debt. Here's a sample of a budget. That's $300 per month, $3,000 per month. Put 10% away. Always put 10% away. So that is $300 you're saving. Then room for rent, because we are saving to buy real estate. So that's $2,200 left. My food and entertainment is $500. $1,700 left with the car and the insurance cable. That's $700. And $1,000 now goes towards the household. So that's what a budget look like. It should always be zeroed out at the end of the month. The money, the problem with the budgets, people wait to, do you notice that saving is part of the budget? Saving is part of our budget. There's no other way around. 47 years on this earth, 18 years on Wall Street, part of the savings must be budget. So this is what a net worth looks like. So you've got assets and minus debt gives you your net worth. Let's say you have a car, $17,000, home, $600,000, credit cards. So you owe a bank $10,000. So we subtract that in the debt section. You owe the bank alone a $324, whatever, Bank of America, Nations Bank, whatever bank, Savings Bank. You owe them $324. Then you owe Apple credit card $20,000. So you're going to add your assets, which are 617, and then you're going to subtract your debt, which is 324. This is a positive net worth. You are worth 263,000. That's an example of how you do a net worth. Let's look at another one, shall we? This one is not as positive as the other one, but there is still one. We've got to look at it. It's ugly, but this happens sometimes. Look. Your assets are 25,000 for a car. Ooh, your house is 600,000. Whoa. But your liability, you owe 35,000 towards the car. You're upside down. A lot of people are upside down these years. Don't worry about it. You owe 570,000 to the bank. That's standard. Most of us buy with only 3% down. And you owe 40,000 in credit cards, and that's standard. So your assets are 625. Then we subtract your liability, 645. You are negative $20,000. Do not worry about that. That happens a lot. It's not a big deal. You can get yourself out, but you must do your net worth. You must know what you are worth every year. So you got to do that every year. What if you own a business? This is how we calculate the business. 3,000 per month on a line. Let's say it's an Amazon, Shopify, or YouTube. So you're making about 3,000 per month. I'm just doing the average, people. I know somebody's going to say, oh, I make 30,000. I understand, I'm changing. But your expense to run the business is about 600 per month. You subtract 3,000 from 600, that's 24. You multiply that by 36 months, that's 3 years. That's the value of your business on the internet. How are you going to save yourself from the recession? You're going to invest, you're going to save, and you are going to budget. That's how you are going to get yourself out of this recession. And what have you learned? You have control over stuff. You can cut expense, you can cut clothes, transportation, housing, food. What else can you do to help yourself? You can get a second job. An online business like YouTube, Shopify, Amazon. And the average people are making on those are 3,000 per month. They're passive income and they are low startup. You should also go ahead and cut expense and save money when you cut expenses out. We just showed you example. I just want to remind everybody to subscribe. We need to get to 100,000 subscribers. We are going to give away free cash. We are a business channel, but we need to subscribe. We need 100,000 subscribers to get there. I'm Tisha Paul. Check out